Alright guys, Papa Pepper back once again, more of 50 Days to Understanding the End Times more accurately. Today we're doing day 46, Drunkenness. But and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, My Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, Matthew chapter 24, verses 48 to 49. In this passage we see that the servant who grows tired of waiting for his Lord's return will turn on his fellow servants and begin to drink with the drunken. There is a call for holiness and sobriety, which the Lord has given to believers, and I believe that this response to concluding that the Lord delayeth his coming is tragic. After all, the passage continues, The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, an hour when he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Matthew chapter 24, verses 50 to 51. These evil servants eventually prove themselves to be tares that the enemy had sown among the wheat. The field is the world, the good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil, the harvest is the end of the world, the reapers are the angels. As therefore tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be at the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all that offend, and them which do iniquity, and they shall cast them into a furnace of fire, and there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Matthew chapter 13, verses 38 to 43. Those that offend and do iniquity, live a lifestyle of sin, shall be cast into the furnace of fire. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The message here is the same one in Matthew 24, verses 50 to 51. How is it that these ones who appeared to be believers wind up becoming drunkards and hating the children of God? As it was in the days of Noah and in the days of Lot, even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. Luke chapter 17, verse 30. Both Noah and Lot were preserved from the actual wrath of God, yet we see a common trend after their preservation. We see that Noah began to be a husbandman, and planted a vineyard, and drank the wine thereof, and was drunken. And he was uncovered in his tent. Genesis chapter 9, verses 20 to 21. Lot's daughters conspired to make their father drink wine, Genesis 19:34, and were able to convince him to do so 2 days in a row. Then, once Lot was drunk, they took turns laying with him, and each became pregnant. So far, as Scripture tells us, this was a one-time event for Noah, and 2 days in a row event for Lot. So obviously they were not overtaken by such a lifestyle of sin, but their sin did have lasting consequences. Since pre-tribulationists have created the tribulation and have taught that this entire period is God's end-time wrath, how will those be subjected to what they believe is actually God's wrath behave? Even those preserved from the real wrath of God, Noah and Lot, momentarily gave in to the sin of drunkenness. So how much more will these who are convinced they are being judged by God's wrath, and that the Bible was not true after all? Point: the Bible makes it clear about the decisions some will make, including drunkenness, when they believe that Jesus isn't coming on time. Alright guys, we got 3 days left. Appreciate you following along. Hopefully you learned something. Don't believe it just because I say it. See what God says and move forward from there. Pop out.